Hello! Sports has given us many records, but everything has a downside. Athletes also tend to make mistakes, get confused, hang out in the middle of the game, or fool around like children. As you might understand, the release is going to be rich and interesting. So, lovers of impressions, do not switch. Not only athletes should consider insurance, but sports reporters could use it too. The girl will now think 3 times before going on air. The reporter had no chance of defense. He had to hold the camera, but the blow was so powerful even the guy next door resonated. Note to all: do not joke with athletes, otherwise they may think you doubt their strength. Here the girl flirted, and after a couple of seconds she was already on her shoulder blades. It is hard to take a reporter seriously when there's a backup dancer around like that. Surely, there is something important. But who heard it? Roller coaster in action, but this time for cars. Imagine what loads the team must withstand during the training and competition. Practically astronauts. To be honest, it's not immediately clear. This is such a manner of speaking, or the girl has a cramp. A very non-standard approach for gymnastics. Emotions took over, and some very strange tricks were used, surprised not only the opponent, but also the performer himself in principle. Don't forget, everyone has a role to play, and it would be nice when everyone minds their own business and does not try to show all their talents. The journalist overestimated her abilities a little. Of course, a successful throw would have added color to the report, but it was necessary to at least practice in advance. The player got into the excitement and could no longer stop in time. After a desperate attempt to hit the ball, he was no longer able to resist the force of inertia. We will witness the most important lesson for the future goalkeeper. You should not relax until the ball is in your hands. Anything can happen. Not just a girl, but a dream. Such a rare combination of beauty and fragility. But this is only at first glance. Cold calculation and accuracy will not let her offend. Have you ever seen such a basketball multi-move? For me personally, the throw remained a mystery, whether it was an accident or it was intended way. The intensity of passions at the stadium is, in principle, a common thing, but here emotions are already flooding right over the edge, at what practically indirect sense of this word. Boxing is an unpredictable game. They came to the match and, for example, it lasted only a couple of seconds due to a knockout, or the opponent for some reason decided to leave the chat. It arrived from where it was not expected. The steward's hat even flew off from the blow. But he's okay. He's doing well. It also encourages the stands. It looks as if these two, apart from the ball, have not shared something else. Therefore, a football match had every chance to develop into a decent battle. The goalkeeper is bored, and when the ball finally fell into his hands, the football player was so carried away, he himself did not notice how he scored a goal into his own net. Sometimes going over the heads isn't so bad. especially if it's about the ball. The submissions turned out to be mega virtuoso, but the result, accordingly, was not long in coming. The guys should simply carry such a valuable goalkeeper in their arms. 4 attempts on the gate, but he courageously defended all the attacks of the enemy. An unusual but successful combination ended in a goal. What is important here? A little cunning, dexterity, and luck. Lots of luck. Of course, the goalkeeper wanted the best, but to be an own goal. The player did not calculate the correct trajectory of the ball, and now you need to somehow quickly rehabilitate. Maybe the basketball player did not get enough sleep before the game. Right in the middle of the match, he seemed to have run out of strength. Or maybe he suddenly remembered something very important. Rules are rules, but sometimes mistakes happen. What to do? There is no escape from instinct. But you can't get away from the red card. The player obviously has some problems with dressing. Now it's scary to imagine what would happen if he had to wear a duvet cover.
What's a blue bit? That was the problem. It should have been a blue bit.
So last week, the wind-up list. It's got to be a wind-up.
Mario was struggling with the formation.
The situation. It seemed they took away your property, but the girl looks pleased. But in principle, everything is clear. Not every photographer can boast of such a trophy camera. The team wanted to intercept the ball from the opponent, but the situation turned out to be irrevocable. The players were too carried away by a protracted maneuver, for which she paid with a goal in her own net. Something the guys got some kind of mess with the ball. The players could not share it in any way. Well, the goal itself was not long in coming. Business before pleasure. The motto is 100%, but not when the game is in full swing. While the rest of the players continue to fight for the ball, the guy has already turned on the winning mode. Sharpening your skills is important and necessary, but such automatism can also turn against the player. Left one-on-one with the goalkeeper, the reflex worked, and the ball ended up in his own goal. For some reason, the reporter decided to leave the battlefield, for which he was immediately punished. Indeed, why did you have to come to the match and end up missing such a goal? Only the most dedicated and selfless fan is ready to take a big risk, but as they say, who does not risk, he does not kiss. Well, in this case, it is. Maybe the guy came to the match only to eat a hot dog in such an atmosphere. But no, if you are already on a diet, then be kind, do not sin. Imagine how many times an athlete worked out his technique. It is not surprising fate decided to diversify his performance. But we must pay tribute. He does not take away his stamina. The coach definitely needs to work with a fair distribution of participants in the competition. The young talent is clearly out of the group of his classmates. This is how optimism and a victorious attitude should look like, not by hand. So with a racket, that's what it means. The mood is only to win, at any cost. The tension in the game is no laughing matter, but pay attention. While one guy dives from side to side, his opponent simply retains not childish calmness and confidence in victory. It is simply breathtaking. Only after some time, you realize the same cannot be in reality. But the realism of the installation is incredible. The guys really want to get into the modeling business and pose for the cameras. They did not take a direct risk and decided to get on stage through the gym. The journalist could not resist to try himself and his strength, but something let him down. Maybe technology, or maybe those same forces. Theoretically, it would have been a great interview, but the ball is not the same, and the field is crooked, and the goalkeeper is like after the New Year's holidays. What is the actual reason? Preview picture 1. Everyone is equal in sports. Here in the ring, first of all, you are a fighter, and then a guy or a girl, but not everyone is ready for such fights. Not all girls go in for sports. Someone has to sacrifice a figure, a hairstyle, or something else. But this athlete is exactly in the right place. It's just hard to believe when this is a wow result for an ordinary person. An athlete can remain dissatisfied with himself. Only with this approach and set records. I didn't know there was an alternative way to play tennis. Apparently, this is the next level, where to use the racket for its intended purpose. It looks like bad manners. That's what I understand, spearfishing. With such an athlete, you will not be lost. Not only can you set a record, but you will also provide an exquisite dinner. A controversial moment, well, and the feeling of the interview as a whole, whether it was successful and such a close contact was established, or something still went wrong. Goal is great, but the judge would argue with this. Somehow, he did not plan to put himself under attack, and even work with a rebound. Athletes should not forget the paparazzi are on the alert. They are everywhere, and they will definitely take advantage of the situation, and will not miss their chance to get vile photos. Sometimes fans can not only surprise, but frankly, shock with their ideas. But the main thing is to be on the same wavelength with your favorite team. The rituals are very individual. Someone needs a coin on a sneaker. Someone needs to go on the right foot. But the girl's approach is rather unusual. Although if it helps her, the winners are not judged. In a 2-on-2 game, the partner plays an important role, and looking at the location of the second participant at the right time in the right place. I would even say, decisive. The finish line is already so close. You can reach out with your hand. But here the unthinkable happens. It's good the rivals are far away, otherwise the guy would have dreamed of winning. Oh, in what kind of sport? But from golf. I did not expect such injuries. How unique the circumstances were, but not for the better for the player. There was an hour of training there. The girl already simply, with all her appearance, made it clear it was time to wrap up. And finally, the coach let the athletes go. Attention! Team change. True, such a substitution. To disrupt the match does not cost anything at all, but at least you can have some fun from the heart. How do you like this twist? I think the idea is brilliant. A new participant will at least inspire the rest, and at the maximum will contribute to a new record.